Part 16. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 151. Everyone at the scene was stunned. They didn't expect Su Yang to be so cruel and decisive. How dare he? Doesn't he know the consequences of offending our reporters? A dandy is a dandy, he doesn't use his brain, haha. Many rich second-generation people who are much better than him have fallen into the hands of our reporters. He is nothing but arrogant. He is too arrogant. Haha, the big hotspot is here, isn't it? Without exception, all the reporters on the scene were condemning Su Yang, pointing their guns and cannons at Su Yang, and taking pictures. Give you a minute to get out of my sight, otherwise. At this point, Su Yang pointed at the unconscious reporter on the ground and said coldly, "He is a lesson for you." Haha, Mr. Su, who are you scaring? Do you think we are afraid of you? Yes, a real reporter will never surrender to the power of a rich man, or bow to evil forces. Brothers, the camera is showing me young Master Su's face, so that everyone can see the true face of this person. As an excellent reporter, I am always ready to dedicate myself to the cause I long for. Even if I die today, I will fire the first shot against the wealthy dandy. A group of reporters spoke impassionedly and righteously, and everyone looked like people with lofty ideals. But their bodies retreated in unison under Su Yang's threat, creating an obvious contrast, making the scene particularly funny. A bunch of idiots. Su Yang complained disdainfully, then put his arm around Li Feiquan's waist and whispered, "Honey, let's go." "Yeah." Li Feiquan nodded obediently. For the first time, she felt that being a dandy felt so good. She didn't have to care about the opinions of outsiders and could do whatever she wanted. In fact, she had been unhappy for a long time. If it wasn't for her own image, she would have wanted to hit these reporters before. These people were like flies, buzzing to death. Next. Su Yang drove a red Ferrari and drove Li Feiquan out of Feng Mao building. After the two left, the reporters at the scene started shouting again and felt sorry at the same time. Haha, if you have money, you can do whatever you want. Concubine Li Xian just got angry, and she was taken care of by young Master Su. Don't talk nonsense. As I said before, Li Feiquan is young Master Su's fiancée. They have known each other for a long time. But, what kind of fiancée is she? She's not afraid of the power of the Su family. Otherwise, how could concubine Li, who is so good, look after a waste like young Master Su? This young Master Su dares to hit a reporter. This matter will never end. He will be punished by law soon. Su Yang was too lazy to pay attention to the group of reporters and went to Haidai Lao with Li Feiquan to eat hot pot and ordered dozens of dishes. Of course, I ordered 2 portions of shrimp sliders, and my wife's needs must be met. Honey, your answer just now is so cute. You didn't get up until you were tired. It's really like grandma got into bed. Su Yang sat opposite Li Feiquan, looking at Li Feiquan and smiling. Grandma got into bed? What do you mean? Li Feiquan wondered, and at the same time picked up the shrimp sliders and put them in her mouth to chew. Because the shrimp sliders were relatively hot, her expression was very funny. Su Yang smiled softly and said, "Grandma got into bed and made me laugh." Puff. Li Feiquan almost burst out laughing. After swallowing the shrimp slipper, she complained, "Su Yang, what are you talking about? It's so messed up and so ugly. This is ugly. I have something even worse." "Do you want to listen to it?" Su Yang said with a playful smile. "No, don't disturb me eating hot pot." Li Feiquan decisively refused. After picking up the yellow throat and eating it, she couldn't control her curiosity. What kind of remark could be worse? The more Li Feiquan thought about it, the more curious she became, and finally couldn't help but said, "Su Yang, what other sayings do you know? Tell me and I will listen." Forget it, I'm afraid you won't be able to eat. Su Yang shook his head and said. It doesn't matter. I have a good appetite and can eat it. Li Fixuan's curiosity was completely aroused. Oh well. Su Yang smiled and said, however, it's meaningless to talk about Zihaoyu. You have to do something to connect with Zihaoyu. Otherwise, you can act coquettishly for me and let me see what you look like a coquettish person. Okay, Su Yang pigeon. Li Fixuan looked at Su Yang with a shy expression, making secret glances, and said coquettishly, I want to hear my last words, can you tell me for them to listen to? Okay, you really wipe your butt with gauze, Su Yang said with a smile. Wipe your butt with gauze. What does this mean? Li Fixuan looked confused. I missed it, Su Yang smiled. Missed, one hand. Li Fixuan repeated the sentence, and was dumbfounded. Then she gritted her teeth and said, Su Yang, are you asking for a beating? I'm eating. Why are you saying this? It's disgusting. Obviously you asked me to say it, Su Yang said innocently. Excuse, if I ask you to die, will you go too? Li Fixuan gritted her teeth. Meeting. Unexpectedly, Su Yang grabbed concubine Li Xian's fair and tender hand and said affectionately, I can. Ah. For a moment, Li Fixuan was stunned. She just said something casually. She didn't expect that Su Yang would react like this, and she was immediately moved to tears. Honey, from now on, you are the most important person in my life. No matter what happens, I will be with you, love you, protect you, and make you the happiest woman in the world. Su Yang held Li Fixuan's jade hand and promised affectionately, if the sky falls or the earth sinks, I will create a new world for you and create a fairy land on earth with birds singing and flowers fragrant, so that you can be happy forever. Su Yang. Li Fixuan met Su Yang's gaze, she was moved to tears, her eyes were red, and she choked and said, are these things you said true? If I ask you to die, will you really go? Yeah, Su Yang nodded decisively. But as soon as he finished speaking, Li Fixuan didn't look moved at all. She took out her hand, a sly smile flashed in her eyes, and she was a little proud. While eating hot pot, she said in a neither salty nor bland way, then you just die. Well. Su Yang paused, a little embarrassed, but he didn't expect that his wife was quite funny. However, if you dare to tease me like this, the super dandy young master Su, you must show some restraint. This is what I am thinking about. Su Yang stood up, grabbed Li Fixuan's hands and pressed them against the wall. Su Yang, what are you doing? Li Fixuan was about to pick up the drink, but was interrupted by Su Yang, who said at a loss, I was joking with you just now. Let go of me. I'm so spicy. I need to drink some water to calm down. You need a drink of water, okay, I'll satisfy you. Su Yang smiled playfully when he heard this. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 152. Woo woo woo. After about a few minutes, the two separated, and Su Yang sat back down. Su Yang. Li Fixuan was ashamed and angry. She gritted her teeth and said, what are you doing? Who asked you to kiss me? You. You're talking nonsense, when did I let you kiss me? Li Fixuan was so ashamed when she thought of what happened just now, her beautiful little face turned as red as a ripe apple. Didn't you just say that you need a drink of water? I didn't want to kiss you. When I heard that you needed some water, I could only reluctantly give you my own saliva. After all, you are my wife. It's okay for me to lose a little saliva. I will definitely satisfy you. Su Yang spoke righteously and said selflessly, honey, there's no need to thank me. This is what I should do. If you still need saliva next time, I can still satisfy you. I'm going to die. What I mean is, I was burned by the hot pot and need a sip of water. Who wants to drink your saliva? Li Feixuan rolled her eyes at Su Yang angrily. But Su Yang said, "What's not water? It can quench your thirst." "My wife, are you still spicy?" "It's not spicy anymore, but..." Li Feixuan gritted her teeth and said, "Su Yang, I can't talk to you anymore. I won't talk to you anymore. You are not allowed to mention what happened just now in the future." "Okay." Su Yang agreed, then gave Li Feixuan a piece of shrimp slippery and said with a smile, "Honey, eat the shrimp slippery." "I won't eat the shrimp slippers you pick up with chopsticks," Li Feixuan curled her lips and said with disgust on her face. "You still think I'm dirty, wife? You're wrong. There's only so much saliva on the chopsticks, but you just drank it." "Su Yang, shut up, I can eat these shrimps from the main office," Li Feixuan interrupted in a hurry, and then ate it in one bite. "Ha ha." When Su Yang saw this, a playful smile appeared on his lips, and his whole person was in a relaxed state. After getting along with Li Feixuan, he really felt that she was a treasure girl, and he became more and more interested in Li Feixuan. "Wife." Li Feixuan was eating hot pot. At this time, Su Yang suddenly remembered something, so he smiled and said, "I have a gift for you." "Stop doing this." Li Feixuan ate it with her belly between her legs, and then said with a dark face, "Last time you said you would give me a gift, but you ended up giving me a tadpole. There is no sincerity." "Oh, I don't want your gift." "There is really a gift this time," Su Yang said seriously, "no kidding, the gift is on me now." "Really?" Li Feixuan put down her chopsticks and suddenly became interested. Then take it out and let me see what it is." Li Feixuan's beautiful eyes were sparkling, and she was obviously full of expectations for the gift. "Good." Su Yang smiled, then reached into his arms to get the gift. However, this action is just to cover up the storage ring. Ever since he got the storage ring, Su Yang put everything he owned into the ring. However, he was afraid that Li Feixuan would be surprised if he took something out of thin air, so he made a fake gesture of reaching into his arms. "Honey, close your eyes and stretch out your hand. I want to give you a surprise." Su Yang said with a smile while groping in his arms. "Uh-huh." Concubine Li Xian followed suit and became more and more curious about what gift Su Yang would give her. Su Yang fumbled in his arms for a few seconds, then took out a black sock, placed it on concubine Li's white and tender hands, and said with a smile, "Honey, you can open your eyes now." "Su Yang, why is this gift so light and soft?" As Li Feixuan spoke, she opened her eyes. When she saw the socks in her hands, her expression suddenly froze and she said with a strange expression on her face, "Su Yang, why does this gift look so much like men's socks?" "Ahem." Su Yang coughed twice, then touched the bridge of his nose and said, "It is indeed a sock." "Sock." Su Yang. After Li Feixuan realized her reaction, she became unhappy for a moment and said with a dark face, "You are so dirty. What are your special hobbies? Why did you give me socks?" With that said, Li Feixuan was about to throw the socks to Su Yang. "Wife." Su Yang smiled softly and said, "Don't throw it away, this is no ordinary sock. It can withstand a full blow from a top master and rebound all damage. It can save your life at critical moments. A talisman refined from an energy stone can withstand a full strength attack from the master in the mid-term." But when Su Yang refined the sock talisman, he used 2 energy stones. 1 plus 1 is greater than 2, so it can withstand the attack of the peak master. Of course, Su Yang arranged a small formation on it, which not only resisted the damage, but also reflected the same amount of damage. If the person who takes action is not careful, the sock talisman may even rebound and kill him. However, this effect was added later. The one given to Wang Fuegui was just a simple attack talisman that could kill the late Grandmaster. Su Yang had previously used the sock talisman in the Jimin black market, which consumed 4 energy stones, so he could kill the half-step Earth sect. At the peak of Grandmaster, a full blow can still cause damage. After hearing Su Yang's explanation, Li Feixuan was instantly shocked and asked in disbelief, "Su Yang, you didn't lie to me, did you? Are these socks really that magical?" Li Feixuan comes from one of the 4 major families. Although she is not an ancient martial artist, she is deeply involved in ancient martial arts and naturally knows what it means to be a master. "What did I lie to you for? Just put it away and carry it with you. It will protect you at critical moments." Su Yang said seriously, "Besides, as long as the socks are destroyed, I will notice it immediately and get your location. In short, you must carry it close to you." "Well, okay, I understand," Li Feixuan said seriously, and then solemnly put the socks into her pocket. "Honey, put away your socks. If you feel lonely in the dead of night, you can sleep with my socks on your arms at this moment," Su Yang said with a smile. Concubine Li glanced at Su Yang, and then asked, "Su Yang, have you not washed this sock? You guess. You're really gross." Ha ha ha. Su Yang liked getting along with Li Feixuan very much. He felt very comfortable and unprecedented. However, the happy time is always short-lived. After eating hot pot, the two separated. Li Feixuan was going to school. Su Yang hated school deeply and naturally refused to go. So after sending Li Feixuan to school, he drove to the Su family manor. After returning to Jiangbei, the reason why Su Yang did not return to the manor to visit his father immediately was because he knew that his father's injury was not serious and would only take half a month to recover. Facts have proved that Su Shenbing recovered very well. He was sitting in a wheelchair. When he saw Su Yang, he immediately gritted his teeth and said, "You brat, where have you been these days and you still know how to come back? You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment." Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 153. Su Yang looked at Su Shenbing, pretending to be surprised and said, "Damn it, Dad, I haven't seen you for a few days, why are you in a wheelchair?" "A little accident happened," Su Shenbing responded. "What accident?" Su Yang knew it, but pretended not to know, and guessed, "Worry, Dad, could it be that when you went to the club to meet the ward rounds, you were so scared that you jumped over the wall and ran away, and accidentally broke your leg?" "Fuck you, am I that kind of person?" Su Shenbing's face darkened. "Right." Su Yang nodded seriously and whispered, "You are someone who often studies short movies at home. You have no interest in clubs or anything like that. Dad, you can't do this. You can't gain experience by just studying postures and not experimenting on the field." Su Yang continued, "Mom has been gone for 5 years. Dad, you can consider finding a stepmother for me. I don't mind. I remember that there are many ladies from famous families who still have thoughts about you. You can marry a beautiful one and someone will take care of you in the future," Su Yang said seriously. "You brat, you know nothing. There was a time when everything was difficult to deal with, except for Wushan, it was nothing." Su Shenbing sat on the wheel and said with a nostalgic look on his face, "After knowing how good your mother is, in my eyes, other women are just vulgar and pink skeletons, not worth mentioning. Also, although your mother is not with us, she has always been in my heart. I believe that sooner or later, she will return to Jiangbei and live with us," Su Shenbing said longingly. "Hey, Dad, you have been poisoned by my mother, and you are extremely ill." Su Yang smiled and said, "But people cannot be resurrected, so we have to move forward. Can't people be resurrected after death?" Hearing this, a strange look flashed in Su Shenbing's eyes. He did not continue the topic, but asked, "Bunny, you haven't answered me yet, what have you been doing these days?" "Oh, I went out for a few days. Su Yang smiled playfully and said, Dad, it turns out that ancient warriors are so strong. In the past few days, I have been fighting continuously in high-end clubs in other places and conquering all directions. I don't feel exhausted at all. I feel full of energy until now. Su Yang, you are angry with me. Su Shenbing roared angrily, Master Li, I took out the magic pill to help you become an ancient warrior and let you enter the middle stage of energy transformation. This is not just for you to visit the club. SHH, Dad, keep your voice down. Walls have ears. Don't spread the scandal of your family to outsiders. Don't let outsiders hear it, Su Yang whispered. You damn thing, you still know that family scandals shouldn't be made public. Su Shenbing was angry, but still cooperated and lowered his voice, whispering, Su Yang, from now on you are not allowed to go to the club, and you can't do anything to disrespect Li Feixuan, otherwise I will let you feel what true father's love is. Dad, let's wait until you recover from your injury. You are now in a wheelchair. Isn't it good that our father is kind and our son is filial and kind, Su Yang said with a playful smile. You bastard. Su Shenbing stared at his son angrily, gritted his teeth and said, idle around all day. In my opinion, even if you use the magic pill to become an ancient warrior, your upper limit will not be very high. The realm of energy transformation may be your ceiling. Yes, Dad, you are right. Su Yang stopped arguing, then inquired about his father's tone, and asked, Dad, to be honest, how did you get injured? 3 days ago, your grandfather and I were waiting for my uncle Xiantian at the Jimen black market. Didn't we meet again? Su Shenbing did not hide anything and continued, not long after you left, a strong man appeared and was ordered to kill me. Before killing me, he tortured me severely in various ways. At this point, Su Shenbing gritted his teeth. Hateful. Su Yang heard this and said angrily, Dad, where is that man? He dares to torture my father, young Master Su, and I can't kill him. Hearing his son's words, Su Shenbing felt warm in his heart, and then continued, he is very strong and has already entered the earth section. You are no match for him. Besides, he is already dead. Died. Su Yang was shocked and said, Dad, he is so strong. Which master who can shock the world and weep ghosts and gods can kill him? It's Su Xiantian. Su Shenbing smiled and said, I, Uncle Xiantian, exhausted all my means and finally defeated that man. Furthermore, in order to avenge me, my uncle Xiantian did not give that person a happy life. I heard that Uncle Xiantian used a sword to cut the man into pieces and cut him into countless pieces. When Su Xiantian was mentioned, Su Shenbing was very excited. Proud. It's so powerful. Su Xiantian is simply an unparalleled genius and a great figure of our generation. I really want to make friends with him if I have the chance. Su Yang started to praise himself without any politeness. Little bastard, Su Xiantian is my uncle. What do you think about making friends with him? Su Shenbing said with a dark face. Dad, when Su Xiantian and I become friends, we can talk about our own affairs, Su Yang said with a smile. Piss off. Absolute thing. Su Shenbing gritted his teeth and said, don't even think about it. Su Xiantian will always be my uncle, your grandpa Su. Am I my own grandfather again? Su Yang smiled bitterly, then looked at Su Shenbing and asked, Dad, why did the strong man you said was half a step into the earth sect realm want to kill you? Also, some time ago, Grandpa seemed to have been injured in a fight with others. Are there any enemies in our family? Those previous questions were just foreshadowing. This is what Su Yang wants to know most. When Su Shenbing heard this, he met Su Yang's gaze. After a few seconds of silence, he finally made a decision. Su Yang. Su Shenbing stared at Su Yang and said with a solemn expression, now that you have entered the ranks of ancient martial arts, there are some things that I can tell you. You will have to face them sooner or later anyway. Our Su family does have a life or death enemy. The opponent is from the ancient martial arts sect, one of the 6 most powerful sections. I won't tell you the details because I'm afraid you will wet your pants in fear. Su Shenbing continued, the person who wanted to kill me a few nights ago came from the Wuying sect and was an elder of the Wuying section. His strength is not too high in the Wuying section. And the Shadowless sect is only a mid-level sect in the ancient martial arts world, far inferior to our enemies. Su Shenbing guessed, that person must have been ordered to come to Jiangbei to kill me. To put it simply, with this comparison, you can clearly see how powerful our Su family's enemies are, Su Shenbing said with a solemn expression. Really? One of the elders in the Wuying sect is a half-step earth sect, and the others must be stronger. The Su family's opponent is not the Shadowless sect, but a behemoth that is stronger than the Shadowless sect. It can be seen from this that the Su family is in many crises. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 154. Su Yang's current strength is definitely not enough. No matter how strong his immortal cultivation system is, it is impossible for him to have the power to crush the ancient martial arts world in just 10 days. Time. Su Yang needs time. If you give him a little more time, he will definitely grow to the point where he can surpass Gu Wu. And, it won't take long. Originally, Su Yang thought that it would take at least several decades for him to build a foundation. But now, in just 10 days, he has already reached the 5th level of Qi training. There are still a lot of resources on the earth. With sufficient spiritual energy, Su Yang is confident that he can build the foundation quickly. The earth is different from the Xiantian immortal realm. The laws of the great Dao here are very weak. After establishing the foundation, Su Yang can fly in the air and display various methods. Formations, talismans, and weapon refining will also be improved to a higher level. However, the opponent has already sent half-step Earth sect. I wonder if they will give him time. With this in mind, Su Yang looked at Su Shenbing and couldn't help but ask, Dad, was the person who injured Grandpa last time also a half-step Earth sect? No. Su Shenbing shook his head and said, the guy who came to Jiangbei last time was the real culprit who wanted to destroy our Su family. That person is very young, but he is already a master at the peak of the master level. He is a young master hidden in the snow of the transcendent section. He usually does not show his face. Su Shenbing continued, he should be afraid, so he did not send strong men to directly destroy the Su family at first, but chose to do it himself. However, he didn't expect your grandfather to be so powerful, so he came back in vain. Su Shenbing said with a heavy face, perhaps he wanted to destroy the Su family too much, so a few days ago, he ordered the elders of Wuying sect to come and kill me. However, Su Yang, you don't have to worry too much. During this period, the major sects in the ancient martial arts world are having a competition. Young talents from many sects are preparing for the ancient martial arts competition. Presumably, that person is also preparing carefully and has no intention of dealing with it. We are the Su family. Su Shenbing smiled bitterly and said, after all, in his eyes, the Su family is just an ant that can be crushed to death at any time. Su Yang nodded and wrote it down secretly. He doesn't like this feeling of uncertainty and must improve his strength as soon as possible. Okay, Su Yang, it's good that you know these things, don't worry too much. Su Shenbing continued, our Su family still has a certain influence in China. That person will not go too far, and I have already thought of a way to deal with it. What method? Su Yang asked curiously. Uncle Xiantian is so young and can kill even half a step of the earth section. He must also be from the transcendental section. Su Shenbing said seriously, when I recover from my injury, I will continue to go to the Jimen black market to find Uncle Xiantian. If he is willing to help, our Su family will definitely escape the disaster. When Su Yang heard this, he suddenly smiled bitterly. There is no monstrous background behind him. However, Su Yang couldn't help but think about the Medicine King Palace mentioned by Hua Shimiao. According to Hua Shimiao, the Yaoang Palace has gathered almost all the doctors in the world. It has a transcendent status and can recruit many powerful people, and its influence is astonishing. If he could gain status in the Medicine King Palace, wouldn't he have a huge backer? It seems that you must attend this meeting to elect the elders of Yaoang Palace. If possible, Su Yang would like to challenge the master of the Medicine King Palace. Although his strength may not be enough, in terms of medical skills, he is enough to crush all the doctors on earth. Certainly. Su Yang would first observe clearly that if the Medicine King Palace was not a one-word court, and would gain the respect of all doctors with its medical skills, and all the doctors could unite to punish the palace master, then he would challenge the palace master. Otherwise, Su Yang will be the elder first to avoid being too bold and causing rejection by the current palace master. With this in his mind, Su Yang planned to go to Hua Shimiao to inquire more about Yaoang Palace, so he said, "Dad, after talking so much, you are tired. Take a rest quickly. I have to go to school." "What, you little bastard, didn't you just come back from the club? Why are you going to the club again?" Unexpectedly, Su Shenbing said angrily. "Dad, you are so deaf, I said I wanted to go to school," Su Yang said loudly with a dark face. "Go to the club, just go to the club. Why are you so loud? You're afraid that others won't know, right?" Su Shenbing scolded. Su Yang repeated again, "Worry, I want to go to school." When people say they are going to school, they really mean going to school. When these words come out of your mouth, what I hear is that you are going to the club. Su Shenbing looked like he had seen through Su Yang, and said distrustfully, "You are the only one who takes the initiative to go to school. Haha, even if you say that sows can climb trees, I believe it, but if you say that you go to school on your own initiative, I won't believe it even to death. Damn, I'm just going to the club. Goodbye." Su Yang didn't bother to explain and left the Su family manor directly. "Humph, admit it, I guessed it right, you just want to go to the club." Su Shenbing's face was dark, and he did not forget to remind, "You bastard, please be careful and don't play too much. Ancient warriors can't play all day long. Hey, my son is old and it doesn't make me worry anymore. When will I be able to calm down?" Su Shenbing sighed, and then asked the servants of the Su family to push him into the study. "Go down and don't disturb me if you have nothing to do. I'll sit alone in the study for a while." Su Shenbing drove away the servant who was serving him, then his eyes fell on the tablet on the desk, and he moved forward with difficulty. Now his limbs are broken and the injuries are relatively serious. He still needs to rest for a period of time before he can recover, so he is currently unable to use his hands and feet. But Su Shenbing's neck was fine, so he leaned forward, entered the password with his tongue, opened the tablet, and clicked on the exciting movies and TV shows that had been played recently. What's the point of going to a club if you don't know what to buy? How can a short movie be exciting, and exciting? Su Shenbing was sitting in a wheelchair, staring intently at the tablet screen, both eyes shining. Every time he watches a movie, he is in his most relaxed state, so comfortable. But this time, the only fly in the ointment is, my hand is broken and I can't move it. About 40 minutes later, Su Yang drove to Bauhinia University. He had already come once when he was sending Li Feixuan to school, but he didn't expect to come again so soon. The school gatekeepers were all snobbish. When they saw Su Yang's Ferrari, they opened the barrier with remote control without stopping. Su Yang drove into the campus, called to confirm that Hua Shimiao was in the office, and then strode up. At the same time, one of the four major families in Jiangbei, the Dong family manor. After several days of investigation, the Dong family finally got the accurate news that Senior Ge Pinga had been killed. This shocked the head of the Dong family, Dong Wenzhung. Senior Ge is an elder of the Wuying sect and a half-step master of the Earth section. He would die at the hands of a young man. It's simply shocking. Dong Wenzhen's face was full of disbelief, and he couldn't help but ask, what is the origin of this Suxiantian? Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 155. The elder of the Wuying sect, who was halfway to the realm of the Earth sect, came to Jiangbei. He was supposed to promote the small town in Jiangbei with a high profile, but he ended up dying in Jiangbei. This is unbelievable. The head of the family, Suxiantian, seems to have appeared out of nowhere. There was no information about him in Jiangbei before. The subordinate next to Dong Wenzhung said, I have inquired in the Jimen black market for a long time, but there is no substantive information. I only know that the young master Suxiantian and Suqiankan are sworn brothers. Sworn homage. Dong Wenzhung asked doubtfully, you mean, Suqiankan, who has short hair and white hair, and Suxiantian have known each other for a long time? Probably not, they also met a few days ago. This subordinate explained, a few days ago, for some unknown reason, the smiling Buddha made a promise to destroy the Su family. In the end, Suxiantian killed him before he could take action. The reason why Suxiantian killed the laughing Buddha seems to be because the laughing Buddha was obsessed with him and thought he was an ordinary person, so he wanted to do business of killing people and selling goods, so the two parties became enemies. The subordinate continued, after Suxiantian killed the smiling Buddha, Suqiankan went to the Jimen black market to find Suxiantian the next day. He also took out 2 energy stones and hurried to become brothers with Suxiantian. This Suqiankan, what a good trick, he easily pulled Suxiantian into the Su family's camp. Dong Wenzhung sneered, and then asked, what does Suxiantian want the energy stone for? Ancient warriors cannot absorb the energy in it. I don't know. The subordinate shook his head. No matter what, this Suxiantian must pay the price, and the Shadowla sect will never let him go. Dong Wenzhen's face was full of worry. I just hope that the Wuying sect will not blame our Dong family. Master, Senior Ge's death has nothing to do with us. Logically speaking, the Shadowla sect won't blame us. It stands to reason. Dong Wenzhung smiled bitterly and said, how can Wuying sect be reasonable with us? In their eyes, our Dong family is dispensable, and they are afraid of blaming Senior Ge's death on us. No, I have to go to Wuying sect in person to take care of everything and try to save the Dong family. Dong Wenzhung made a decision and then asked, what has Zikan been busy with these 2 days? Reporting to the head of the family, according to your instructions, Master Zikan has been strengthening his oral practice, and his speech is no longer mixed with foreign languages. The subordinate continued, in the afternoon, I saw Master Zikan going out, and I didn't know what to do. What's gone? Well, my son is better at this. He is not like other rich kids who bully others and cause trouble for the family. Mentioning Dong Zikan, Dong Wenzhung was slightly relieved and rarely showed a smile. At this moment, Su Yang saw Hua Shimiao in the office. Master, I have consulted in detail. The doctor's conference will be held in 5 days. Hua Shimiao said respectfully, what a coincidence, I received news last night that the location of the doctor's conference was actually chosen in Jiangbei. Jiangbei. Su Yang frowned slightly and said, where were the doctor's conferences held in the past? Kyoto, without exception, every time is in Kyoto, but this time, it is set in Jiangbei. Hua Shimiao responded, as far as I know, the location was decided by the palace leader Ruomua. At that time, all the doctors from Yaoang Palace will come to Jiangbei to participate in the doctors' conference. An inexplicable change of location? Su Yang's frown deepened, there must be something wrong with this. Master, I have friends who are in power in Kyoto, so I know some news. At this time, Hua Shimiao whispered, 3 days ago, a big event happened on the border of eastern Xinjiang. One of the 10 great generals of China, the god of war, also your sister Su Jingguo, led his troops into country D. As a result, he was surrounded by 80,000 enemy soldiers and was in danger. Having said this, Hua Shimiao looked at Su Yang and continued, Master, you don't have to worry. Miss Su has been rescued. It was one person and one dog who saved her. The scary thing is that one man and one dog actually killed 80,000 D country soldiers. 2 mid-level masters and even a half-step earth sect shocked the top brass of China. Hua Shimiao murmured, I don't know who that person is, but he has such terrifying strength, and that dog, it's simply appalling. Haha, of course I am not worried about my sister's safety, because I am the one who saves her at this time, Su Yang smiled lightly. What? When Hua Shimiao heard this, his face was filled with astonishment and he said in shock, Master, you mean that you went to Dongjiang and rescued Miss Su, and that the mysterious master is you? Hua Shimiao's friends only have average power, so they don't know much. Su Yang nodded, and then asked doubtfully, what does this matter have to do with the change of location of the doctors' conference? I didn't know just now, but now I have a guess. Hua Shimiao looked at Su Yang respectfully, and then said, Master, I have mentioned the current situation of Medicine King Palace to you before. There are many doctors in the Medicine King Palace, and their influence is astonishing. Even the sect leaders of major sects and people with the level of old age and immortality still have a weak reputation in the Medicine King Palace. But there are no real masters in the Medicine King's Palace, experts who belong exclusively to the Medicine King's Palace. Hua Shimiao continued, no matter how strong the foreign aid is, it is meaningless. In the final analysis, it is just foreign aid. Once the Medicine King Palace encounters a life or death crisis, how many people will be willing to lend a helping hand? Of course, over the years, there have been many strong casual cultivators who want to join the Medicine King Palace, but those old guys have impure intentions, and successive palace masters have not dared to accept them. Hua Shimiao smiled bitterly and said, this means that there are no top experts in ancient martial arts in the Medicine King Palace. And 3 days ago, the young master who destroyed 80,000 people in Country D, everyone speculates that he has set foot in the half-step Earth section. For such a young half-step Earth sect, his future achievements are limitless. Hua Shimiao said the reason, so, Yao Wangdian came up with the idea of cultivating him. I heard from my friend that the palace master and many elders held a meeting and decided that the young powerful man must be introduced to the Medicine King Palace at all costs. If that young Earth sect does not have a sect, it would be best. If there is a sect, it would be best to use the resources of the Medicine King Palace to intimidate and induce him. No matter what, the person must have only one identity, and that is a member of the Medicine King Palace. Hua Shimiao smiled softly and said, Master, now I know that the young Earth sect is you. If you think about it carefully, the change of location of the doctors' conference must be for Su Xiantian. After all, as we all know, Su Xiantian has only appeared in Jiangbei. Master, this time, it should be a sure thing that you become the elder of the Medicine King Palace, Hua Shimiao said with a happy smile, looking forward to following the rise of the master. Su Yang probably understood that Yao Wangdian wanted to cultivate a talented and loyal genius, hoping to change the situation where Yao Wangdian had no peak experts. Su Yang currently needs an influential and powerful backer, as well as many resources containing spiritual energy. And the Medicine King Palace has all of these, isn't it just what they want? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 156. After figuring out Yao Wangdian's intentions, Su Yang made a secret calculation. Since the doctors' conference is held in Jiangbei, it saves a lot of trouble. When the time comes, if I participate as Su Xiantian and show my skills, I can naturally become an elder. As for whether to challenge the position of palace master, it depends on the situation. Master, in addition to the doctor's conference, there is one more thing I think it is necessary to tell you at this time, Hua Shimiao said respectfully. Su Yang frowned and said, "What's the matter?" The god of war, Tian's, under Prince Ping, has already left for Jiangbei, and may come tonight. Hua Shimiao continued, "According to the information I received, God of War Tian's received an order from Prince Ping to come to Jiangbei to make friends with that young master. I was very curious before about how so many young masters suddenly appeared in Jiangbei. Haha, I didn't expect that the person who killed 80,000 enemy soldiers was master." Hua Shimiao continued, "In that case, master, Tian's god of war is also here for you." Prince Ping, Tian's god of war, Su Yang frowned slightly, obviously not understanding these two people. Seeing his master's doubts, Hua Shimiao explained, "Master, Prince Ping is the brother of the current emperor. He holds a heavy army and is the general marshal of China. He has 10 generals under his command. Your sister Sujingguo is one of the 10 generals, as is the god of war Zhao Tian's. It turns out he is my immediate boss." Su Yang showed a smile and then asked, "What achievements does this Zhao Tian's have that he is as famous as my elder sister?" Tian's god of war, guarding the southern border, once killed 120,000 enemy troops in one fell swoop, frightening the countries in the southern border with fear. Mentioning Zhao Tian's, Hua Shimiao rarely showed a hint of awe, and then said, "Master, Zhao Tian's is an important weapon of the country, a pillar of great power, and his prestige has always been very high." "Yes, I understand." Su Yang nodded. "Master, if Zhao Tian's wants to see you, will you see him or not?" Hua Shimiao asked. "Not see." Su Yang smiled softly and said, "Prince Ping sent him to find me just to win me over. I have indulged myself in mountains and rivers all my life, and I don't want to be bound by anything. How can I become the subordinate of a prince like him? Whether I see him or not, it doesn't mean much. Just help me pay more attention to the doctor's conference. Notify me of any news. Don't pay too much attention to other things," Su Yang said calmly. "Yes." Hua Shimiao responded respectfully, and then couldn't help but ask, "Master, I heard that the people who killed 80,000 people were one person and one dog. So you also have a very strong pet dog?" Su Yang did not answer, but looked at Hua Shimiao with raised eyebrows, and said coldly, "Have you forgotten what I just said? Disciple deserves to die. It's my disciple who talks too much." "Master, please punish me," Hua Shimiao suddenly said in fear. "There's no need for punishment. Don't ask anything you shouldn't ask next time. It's better if you don't ask as much about some things." Su Yang's expression was cold, and then he changed his tone and said, "How is my grandpa recovering from his injury? When I saw him a few days ago, he didn't seem to be fully recovered." Reporting to Master, "Mr. Su has completely recovered now." Hua Shimiao said, "Originally Mr. Su was relatively weak and had been injured for many years, so I controlled the dosage of the medicine. Mr. Su has recovered well in the past few days. His body has become much stronger, so I increased the effectiveness of the medicine and he was fully recovered yesterday," Hua Shimiao added. "His analysis is good. The hidden disease in Sukinkin's body has existed for too long and needs to be nourished slowly, otherwise it will be like destroying the potential." This is the main reason why Su Yang did not personally treat his grandfather after his rebirth. Because even if he takes action, he will treat it slowly and heal while nourishing the body. This is the most beneficial plan for the body. Hua Shimiao, thank you for treating my grandfather. Su Yang looked at Hua Shimiao, and then asked, 9-turn rejuvenation needle, how are you practicing? Are you familiar with the second turn?" "Master, you're welcome. This is what I should do." Hua Shimiao smiled, and then said sheepishly, the second turn is barely operable, but I'm still not skilled enough. Take your time. You are not very talented. If you practice hard, you still have a chance to master it. Su Yang smiled softly and said, next, I'll pass it on to you 2 more times, just keep an eye on it. After he finished speaking, Su Yang looked at the mannequin next to him, pulled out the silver needle on it, and quickly inserted it into the acupuncture point, explaining it while inserting it. 8 minutes later, Su Yang stopped his hand, his eyes fell on Hua Shimiao, and said calmly, I'll put the silver needle on the acupuncture point, you just need to practice on it. Thank you, Master. Hua Shimiao was extremely excited and said excitedly, the 9-turn rejuvenation needle is so amazing. If I can master the 4 turns, I can already crush most doctors. Thank you Master for teaching me the 9-turn rejuvenation needle. Haha, frog in the well, in my eyes, the 9-turn rejuvenation needle is just the lowest level of acupuncture, not worth mentioning at all. Su Yang's eyes were full of contempt, and he strode out of the office. Congratulations, Master. Hua Shimiao bent down and said goodbye to Su Yang respectfully. He didn't dare to straighten up until Su Yang left. At this moment, Hua Shimiao looked at the mannequin with his cloudy eyes, his eyes were shining, and he couldn't help but said to himself, the 9-turn rejuvenation needle is so exquisite. But this, to master, is just the lowest level of acupuncture. Master, what's the origin? Hua Shimiao was filled with doubts, and then he retracted his thoughts. The master did not allow him to ask any more questions, so he decided not to think about these questions from now on. Grandfather. Hua Qingdai walked in and asked curiously, the person who went out just now looks so much like Su Yang from the back, is it him? Well, it's young Master Su. Hua Shimiao came back to his senses, nodded and said, Qingdai, why did you come to school today? After knowing Nalan Ming's true identity, Hua Qingdai was sad for several days and asked for leave and did not come to school. That's why Hua Shimiao asked. Grandpa, let bygones be bygones, I have cheered up again. Hua Qingdai smiled softly. The reason why she was sad was not because she liked Nalan Ming very much, but because she felt that she had been deceived. Actually, Hua Qingdai only had some yearning for Nalan Ming, and she did have some feelings for him. However, this seed of love was destroyed before it had time to take root and sprout. Mr. Mo Shang is as gentle as jade. In Hua Qingdai's heart, Nalan Ming is such an image. But that night she realized that all the modesty, gentleness, and politeness were all fake. The real Nalan Ming was a despicable person who went back on his word and used any means to achieve his goals. Hua Qingdai felt that she had been deceived, and that she had been deceived completely, so she was very sad. But now, she figured it out. She had nothing to lose anyway, so just treat it as recognizing a dog. Qingdai, it's best if you can look away. When you make a boyfriend in the future, you must keep your eyes open and let Grandpa check you first. Hua Shimiao showed a kind smile, then suddenly thought of Su Yang, and couldn't help but ask, Qingdai, what do you think of young Master Su? Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 157. Young Master Su. Hearing Grandpa's question, Hua Qingdai instantly understood what Grandpa meant, and her face turned red. Qingdai, why are you blushing? Could it be that you have had a crush on young Master Su for a long time? Hua Shimiao asked with a smile. Grandfather. Hua Qingdai reacted and said with a blush, what are you messing up about? Su Yang is Fei Xian's fiancé, and they are a couple. What is this? Hua Shimiao looked at it openly and smiled softly, Su Yang, this young man, is very good. There are destined to be many women around him. If you can stay with her, it is already very good. Okay Grandpa, stop talking nonsense, I'm going to get angry. Hua Qingdai gritted her teeth and said, Also, didn't Su Yang just help me see Nalan Ming's true face? Apart from that, what else is great about him? He is a playboy who often goes to high-end clubs. I don't like it. He. King Day, what do you know? I don't allow you to say that about Su Yang. Hua Shimiao had just learned 2 turns of acupuncture, so naturally he wanted to protect his master, so he said seriously, what's wrong with going to the club often? Such a man is used to seeing flowers and plants, his concentration is extraordinary, and he can withstand temptations better. Besides, men can learn a lot of skills by going to clubs to ensure a happy married life, Hua Shimiao said seriously. Well. Hua Qingdai's face was full of surprise. Grandpa, when did it become a good thing to go to the club and learn technology? Fortunately, you are still a professor at a prestigious university. How can you use the word learning for that kind of thing? Why can't it be used? Hua Shimiao also realized that what he said was inappropriate, but he chose to defend his master and could only go one way to the end. Life is a learning process. Understanding what you are not good at is considered learning. Not good at, Grandpa, Su Yang has been going to the club every day these years. He is good at this kind of thing, but he still keeps going, Hua Qingdai gritted her teeth. This is called endless learning. Hua Shimiao looked at Hua Qingdai and said seriously, it can be seen from this incident that Su Yang has perseverance and will definitely become a master in the future. Hua Qingdai was speechless and couldn't find a suitable reason to refute for a while. After a pause for a few seconds, Hua Qingdai muttered, Grandpa, tell me honestly, does Su Yang have something against you? No. Then why do you keep speaking for him? Hua Qingdai asked doubtfully. Hua Shimiao felt a little embarrassed and said, Grandpa, this is seeking truth from facts. Seek truth from facts? Haha, Grandpa, you are really interesting. Hua Qingdai didn't believe it at all, curled her lips and said, forget it, I won't talk to you about Su Yang. I came to you to resign. I don't want to be a counselor anymore. Well, what's going on? Hua Shimiao frowned. Being a teacher is too tiring. I just graduated from college and don't want to waste my youth. Besides, I graduated from a dance academy and am a counselor in the Department of Traditional Chinese Medicine. My major is not the right one. Hua Qingdai continued, it just so happened that concubine Xian held a dance training class. I plan to go to her place and start a business with her to promote classical dance. Hey, at first I thought the society outside was too chaotic, so I used my connections to transfer you to the Traditional Chinese Medicine Hospital. Hua Shimiao sighed and said, after Nalan Ming's incident came out, I realized that I had done something wrong. I shouldn't have kept you by my side. If you came into contact with society early and knew about the intrigues, maybe you wouldn't be deceived by Nalan Ming. Hua Shimiao then said, okay, Qingdai, I accept your resignation. But one thing you must remember is that if you encounter anything that cannot be solved, you must first tell me that. If you are dating a boyfriend, you must let Grandpa check it for you, Hua Shimiao warned. Hua Qingdai smiled and said, okay, Grandpa, I don't want to fall in love in the near future. How can that work? How old are you? You are fair and have such a good figure. It would be a pity not to fall in love. Speaking of this, Hua Shimiao mentioned Su Yang again and said with a smile, actually, Su Yang is really good. You can seriously consider it? Hua Qingdai curled her lips and said, Grandpa, did I do something bad that offended you? Why do you always want me to be the mistress? You are still young. Hua Shimiao smiled and shook his head, but did not continue the topic. Hua Shimiao is very aware of Master Su Yang's strength and talent, and his future achievements are limitless. Who is a truly capable person who does not have 3 wives and 4 concubines, hugging him from left to right? It is much more comfortable to be a woman next to such a strong man than to be the wife of an ordinary person. Hua Shimiao had been working for most of his life, so he naturally understood this truth, but Hua Qingde didn't, so he didn't mention it again. At this moment, Su Yang was walking in the school and soon came to class 21, class 8 of the Department of Traditional Chinese Medicine. Now that he's at school, he has to meet his wife anyway. Besides, he hasn't been to his wife's class yet. He doesn't know if there are any toads in the class who are plotting against his wife. If there are, they must be suppressed. So, Su Yang stood at the door of class 8, Department of Traditional Chinese Medicine, and took a closer look, but did not find Li Feixuan. Strange, why isn't my wife in the classroom? Doubtful, Su Yang dialed Li Feixuan's phone number and smiled softly. Honey, why did you go to school during class time? Why are you not in the class? I'm in class. I'm in class, Li Feixuan said in a low voice on the other side of the phone. Impossible, I was at the door of class 8, grade 21, Department of Traditional Chinese Medicine, and I didn't see you. Su Yang asked doubtfully, did I go to the wrong class? Department of Traditional Chinese Medicine. Li Feixuan paused for a moment, then gritted her teeth and said, you idiot, you are not in the wrong class, you are in the wrong department, I am in the finance department. Department of Finance. Well, didn't I tell you last time you asked me? Ah, maybe I heard it wrong. Su Yang was slightly embarrassed. You heard me wrong, Su Yang, I'm afraid there's something wrong with your ears. Li Feixuan hung up the phone angrily. Department of Finance. Department of Traditional Chinese Medicine. Su Yang remembered. What his wife said that day seemed to be the Department of Finance. He had indeed heard it wrong. He even repeated it at the time. It was funny when he thought about it. Damn it, the majestic immortal emperor is actually deaf. Su Yang smiled self-deprecatingly, put away his phone and left the Department of Traditional Chinese Medicine. A few minutes later, Su Yang came to class 8 of the finance department and saw Li Feixuan from a distance. At this moment, Li Feixuan was wearing a red ancient costume with a waist and long skirt. Her tall and slender figure, coupled with her stunning appearance, could fully support this outfit. Hey, wife, aren't you in class? Why are you out? Su Yang greeted with a smile. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 158. Concubine Li glanced at Su Yang and said with disgust, aren't I worried that a big idiot like you can't find the class? Haha, wife, I misheard that time. It was just an accident. In fact, my hearing is pretty good. Su Yang smiled softly and said, I can even hear you praising me for being handsome in your heart. Stop talking so much, please, my dear Mr. Long. Li Feixuan curled her lips and smiled. Ahem. Su Yang didn't want to continue this topic anymore, so he said, honey, I remember when I sent you to school, you were not wearing these clothes. When did you change? I was rehearsing a dance just now. These are my dance clothes. I came out when I got your call and I didn't have time to change back. That's it? Wife, go practice dancing quickly. I'll just take a peek, Su Yang said with a smile. I'm tired from dancing. I'm a little thirsty from the hot pot I had for lunch. I need a drink of water. Concubine Li Xianzheng was talking when she suddenly saw Su Yang approaching her and seemed to want to kiss her, so she hurriedly said, I want to drink mineral water, I don't want to take a sip, woo woo woo. Before Li Feixuan finished speaking, Su Yang blocked her mouth and started chewing as if no one else was watching. At first, Li Feixuan slapped Su Yang's chest, but slowly, her body softened, and Zionio leaned against Su Yang's body and began to cooperate. Although Li Feixuan has an outstanding figure, about 1.7 meters, she does not wear high heels because she dances classical dance. As for Su Yang, who is over 1.8 meters tall, he can lower his head just enough to kiss his wife. In this way, the two of them went back and forth, and it lasted about 4 or 5 minutes before they separated. After, Su Yang hugged Li Feiquan's waist and said with a smile, "Honey, are you still thirsty?" "Not thirsty anymore." Li Feiquan looked at Su Yang angrily, blushed, and said angrily, "Su Yang, are you and the alpaca close relatives? Why do you always like to spit? If you do this next time, I won't kiss you." Su Yang heard this and said in a serious tone like a boss, "Huh? Woman, if you don't kiss me, who else do you want to kiss?" "Follow whoever you want, I won't follow you anyway," concubine Li said with her little head arrogantly. "Ha ha, woman, you succeeded in irritating me. Now I am smiling sarcastically, with a face that is 60% cool, 80% cold, and 90% disdainful, and then I start torturing you," Su Yang said viciously. Puff. Li Feiquan suddenly laughed out loud. "Su Yang, you are so stupid like this, wow." Su Yang didn't hesitate and kissed her again. Li Feiquan fell silent for a moment. Regardless of whether it's a girl or a woman, when dealing with them, don't worry about so much. Just a few blind kisses or 2 kisses, and nothing will happen. After this long kiss, Li Feiquan snuggled into Su Yang's chest obediently, and their movements were particularly sweet. Damn it, Li Feiquan, the beauty in the finance department. She's the beauty of the finance department. She's from the dance club. I've seen her dance. It's no exaggeration to say she's the school beauty. A few days ago, the video of Li Feiquan dancing on the internet celebrity bridge went viral on the internet. Did you know? Of course I know, but it's a pity that she is young Master Su's fiancée. The video of young Master Su beating a reporter also went viral today. He is so coquettish and a scumbag. Damn, who is that man? He actually dares to kiss Li Feiquan, and he kisses her wetly. Li Feiquan didn't resist and even lay in his arms. Wait a minute, this guy is young Master Su. A flower stuck in cow dung, damn it. Ever since Li Feiquan appeared, a large group of students had gathered to watch, causing quite a stir. Especially when they saw Su Yang and Li Feiquan hugging each other, the scene instantly became boiling. They all gnashed their teeth and felt deeply unworthy for Li Feiquan. A flower stuck on cow dung, haha, that's a really good analysis at this time, concubine Li said with a smile. When Su Yang heard this, he immediately geared up and angrily wanted to teach the student who said this. "Su Yang, calm down, I'm just joking," Li Feiquan pulled Su Yang and advised. "No, how can you joke about something like this?" Su Yang said seriously, "You are my wife, and I will never allow them to call you cow dung." "Well." Li Feiquan paused, and the smile on her face froze. "How did I turn into cow dung? I am obviously a flower, okay. Do you have any misunderstanding about this sentence? Run quickly, young Master Su is furious. This playboy dares to beat up reporters. He will definitely not take us seriously. Don't offend him." When the classmates next to him saw Su Yang getting angry, they immediately ran away in fright. "Huh, you guys can run fast." Su Yang gritted his teeth and said, of course it was just a show. With his status, he would not really be angry with these students. After all, they were at different altitudes. "Honey, aren't you thirsty? Come on, I'll take you to buy something water." "Yeah, but I don't want to drink water anymore. I want to drink milk tea," concubine Li said with a smile. "No problem." Su Yang smiled, then held Li Feiquan's hand and walked on the campus path. Autumn has just begun, the breeze is not dry in the afternoon, and the autumn air is crisp. Walking on campus with the person you like, stepping on the yellowish leaves under your feet, and hearing the sound of salsa, isn't this the feeling of falling in love? Soon, Su Yang and Li Feixuan arrived at the milk tea shop outside the school. At this time, it was class time, so there were not many people in the milk tea shop. After Su Yang and Li Feixuan ordered milk tea, they sat next to them and waited. Young Master Su. At this time, Wang Fugui's voice came from not far away, and his tone was full of excitement. Fuck, Mr. Su, it's really you. And sister-in-law Feixian, hello, R.I., you even held hands. When Su Yang heard the sound, he and Li Feixuan walked to Wang Fugui. Among them, Su Yang looked at Wang Fugui and asked doubtfully, Young Master Wang, what are you doing? Me. Wang Fugui's eyes evaded, and he responded casually with his mobile phone, haha, I'm scrolling through Douyin. Use TikTok. Yes, use Douyin. Wang Fugui turned on his mobile phone and said while playing the video, Young Master Su, you don't know that men today are so sad and have no dignity at all. Look at this video. A big man with big muscles and a round waist was grabbed by his ears and beaten by his wife. He didn't even dare to fight back. He only screamed in pain. Look at this video again. Damn it. As a man, he actually surrendered to his wife's power and squeezed her shoulders and hit her back. It has no dignity. There is also this video, which is even more irritating. His wife asked him to kneel on the keyboard. He was so fucking stupid, but he knelt down without saying anything. His movements were smooth and fluid, and he was extremely skilled. You can tell from one glance that he kneels often. Wang Fugui's face was full of disgust, and he gritted his teeth and said, Young Master Su, tell me whether you are angry or not. These guys are so cowardly. We men have been completely embarrassed by them. I, Young Master Wang, look down on them from the bottom of my heart. It's sad, a man's sad. Wang Fugui gritted his teeth. The more he spoke, the more excited he became. He seemed to be full of empathy and full of contempt for the man in the video. But at this time, Su Yang looked at Wang Fugui who was kneeling on the ground and said comfortingly, Young Master Wang, don't be angry now. If you have anything to say, stand up and say it. I see you kneeling on the durian skin, it's quite uncomfortable. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 159. Durian Skin. Yes. At this moment, Wang Fugui was kneeling on the durian skin with his pants rolled up. His knees were in direct contact with the durian skin, and blood stains could be clearly seen on the edges. Puff. Li Feixuan, who was next to her, couldn't bear it any longer. She smiled and said, Young Master Wang, are you going to laugh me to death? You are kneeling on the durian and complaining about the person kneeling on the keyboard. After laughing, Li Feixuan realized that it was a bit rude, so she said, Get up quickly, don't torture yourself, it will be very uncomfortable after a long time. Young Master Su, sister-in-law Feixian, I also want to stand up, but I dare not, Wang Fugui said with tears streaming down his face. Why are you crying? Please dry yourself quickly and don't embarrass me. Su Yang complained, then asked curiously, You are such a majestic young master, who dares to bully you and make you kneel on the durian? She's my girlfriend, Young Master Su. I'm in love, oh, Wang Fugui said aggrievedly. Isn't it great to be in love? What a wonderful thing, why don't you cry? You don't understand, Mr. Su. Unexpectedly, Wang Fugui cried even more miserably, and said with snot and tears, It's too difficult to fall in love. If I had a choice, I would rather die than fall in love. What's going on? Who is your girlfriend? Su Yang asked doubtfully. Young Master Su, this is Lu Shushan. Wang Fugui said with an aggrieved face, you mentioned Lu Shushan to me that day, who knew she would go to my house as a guest that night. When I was young, I had a very good relationship with Lu Shushan. We were childhood sweethearts. However, we haven't seen each other for almost 10 years. When I saw her that day, she looked pretty good, so I couldn't help but say a few more words to her. She is very enthusiastic towards me, she blushes whenever I look at her, she obviously likes me. Wang Fugui continued, young Master Su, you know who I am. How could I let go of the girl who came to my door? She became my girlfriend as soon as she came here. We are developing very fast, and we just have to take the last step. But Lu Shushan is too conservative. When I asked to do that, she refused directly and even beat me. How could I, the majestic young master, be beaten by a woman willingly? I fought back at that time. At this point, Wang Fugui gritted his teeth and said without tears, but damn, I found that I can't beat her at all. This woman Lu Shushan is actually an ancient warrior, and she seems to have already stepped into the realm of energy. She is particularly powerful. I was beaten so badly that I couldn't get out of bed for 2 days. After I almost recovered, I found Lu Shushan and broke up with her. Wang Fugui continued, you won't let me touch you, and you are so barbaric. This kind of girl is not worthy of being my young master Wang's girlfriend. However, Lu Shushan disagreed and said that since I held her hand and hugged her, I must be responsible for her. I'm responsible for this. I went directly to my dad and asked my family to come forward and punish Lu Shushan. After all, the Lu family is just a small family and they don't dare to go against our Wang family. Wang Fugui became even more angry and said through gritted teeth, but the sad thing is that instead of helping me, my father and grandfather spoke to Lu Shushan and even beat me to ask me to treat Lu Shushan well. My mother and grandma were even more exaggerated. The two of them took Lu Shushan shopping all day long and called Lu Shushan directly her daughter-in-law and grandson's daughter-in-law. This woman, Lu Shushan, didn't refute, she even accepted it happily. She seemed quite happy. She is happy, but I feel uncomfortable. At the end of the sentence, Wang Fugui wiped away his tears and cried, young Master Su, I feel bitter in my heart. You are my best brother, but you must make the decision for me. Su Yang finally understood. He had known about Lu Shushan before, but he didn't expect Lu Shushan to be so bold as to go directly to Wang Fugui's house. It seems that love makes people blind. Lu Shushan identified Wang Fugui, so she went to meet her parents directly. As for the people of the Wang family, knowing that Lu Shushan is so outstanding and that she is an ancient martial artist at a young age and has an unlimited future, they will definitely be willing to facilitate the marriage between Wang Fugui and her. Therefore, everyone in the Wang family is very kind to Lu Shushan and regards Lu Shushan as one of their own. Young Master Wang, I can't get involved in the matter between you and Lu Shushan. After all, it is your young couple's private matter. At this time, Su Yang smiled and said, so, I can't help you. No, young Master Su, you are the only one who can help me. I don't want to fall in love with a savage woman, let alone marry her. Wang Fugui looked at Su Yang with pleading eyes and promised, young Master Su, as long as you can help me solve this problem, I will help you stay at the club every day. Once a new beautiful technician comes, I will call you immediately. The phone call will arrange everything for you so that you can enjoy it. Okay, Wang Fugui, you have done this kind of thing before, right? Concubine Li Xian next to her said with a smile. Ah, sister-in-law concubine Xian, I almost forgot that you are here, I was joking just now, Wang Fugui explained hurriedly. Concubine Li smiled, but was not angry and did not continue the topic. Damn it, sister-in-law concubine Xian, you don't really believe I'm joking, do you? Wang Fugui couldn't help but ask. What do you think? I'm not stupid. Then why aren't you angry? Is it useful to be angry? Li Feixuan smoothed her hair in front of her forehead and said with a smile, I already know who Su Yang is. Isn't he a high-end club? Just go there. As expected of my sister-in-law, you are so generous. Wang Fuegui couldn't help but give a thumbs up. Okay. Su Yang was a little uncomfortable. He didn't want to continue this topic, but said, young Master Wang, get up. Sit down and drink a cup of milk tea. If anything happens, let's discuss it slowly and solve it. Okay. Wang Fuegui responded, put his hands on the ground, and stood up with difficulty. I knelt for more than 10 minutes, and it's finally over. It hurts me to death, and my legs are numb. Who asked you to get up? At this moment, Lu Shushan, wearing a white sportswear, walked in, holding a plastic bag in her hand. In the plastic bag was medicine for reducing swelling and pain. After seeing Wang Fuegui stand up, Lu Shushan said with a dark face, kneel down. Thump. When Wang Fuegui heard this, he didn't hesitate for a second and knelt directly on the durian, holding his ears with both hands. He was obviously very afraid of Lu Shushan. Wang Fuegui, I didn't ask you to get up, so you kept kneeling. Lu Shushan raised the plastic bag in her hand, her eyes full of concern, and said, here are medicines to reduce swelling and pain. The punishment is over, I'll apply it on you myself. Lu Shushan, you punished me by kneeling on durians, and even bought me painkillers. Stop pretending to be benevolent, I don't need it, Wang Fuegui said through gritted teeth. Lu Shushan frowned and said in a deep voice, Wang Fuegui, what did you say? Say it again. Wang Fuegui panicked for a moment, hurriedly squeezed out a forced smile, and changed his words, Xiao Tian Tian, I said you prepared medicine for me. It's so considerate. You are so kind to me. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 160. Seeing Lu Shushan getting angry, Wang Fuegui was instantly frightened. Just now he was full of indignation and unyielding, but now he was full of flattering smiles. That's pretty much it. When Lu Shushan heard Wang Fuegui's flattering words, she immediately stopped being angry and even felt a little shy. Su Yang and Li Feixuan, who were next to him, stared blankly at each other, and both fell into silence. Are you still playing like this? Wang Fuegui's change of attitude was really fast. And Lu Shushan, what's going on? Can't you tell that Wang Fuegui just dealt with it casually? Are you shy? Former, young Master Su. At this time, Lu Shushan discovered Su Yang. She wanted to call her senior, but then she thought about what Su Yang had arranged before, so she changed her mind. Then she looked at Li Feixuan next to her and whispered, this is. Hello, Lu Shushan, I am Li Feixuan. Li Feixuan smiled softly and said, we should have played together when we were children, but time has passed so long that I don't remember. You are Sister Feixuan. Lu Shushan smiled and said, indeed, I didn't recognize you, but I remember everything from when I was a child. We played house together. Concubine Li smiled and then asked curiously, Sister Chu Tian, what's going on with Wang Fuegui? Why did you punish him to kneel on the durian? Don't mention it, this guy went to the club to spend the night last night, and I found out. Lu Shushan glanced at Wang Fuegui, gritted her teeth, and said angrily, you restless thing, you still go to the club when you have a girlfriend, it's so hateful. Sister Chu Tian, don't be angry. Don't use his mistakes to punish yourself. It's not worth it to hurt your body. Concubine Li Xian smiled and comforted, let Wang Fuegui get up quickly. He has been kneeling for a long time and his knees are injured. He deserves it, Lu Shushan said bitterly, when he went to the club to find the female technician, he should have thought of his own end. I really can't think of it. When Wang Fuegui heard this, he looked at Lu Shushan and interjected, I'm still curious, how did you know that I went to the club, And how did you know exactly which box I was in? Uncle Wang told me Lu Shushan didn't hide anything. My father? Lu Shushan continued, Uncle Wang also said, let me discipline you well, Wang Fuegui, just accept your fate, you will never escape my grasp in this life. Worry, tigers can't eat their own children. My father actually betrayed me. How can we still be a good father and son? Wang Fuegui said sadly, young Master Su, I was betrayed by my father. Who should I ask to reason with this? As he spoke, Wang Fuegui seemed to think about his future fate and squeezed out 2 tears. Sister Chu Tian, you see that you have forced Wang Fuegui, let him get up quickly, Li Feixuan said again. No. But Lu Shushan insisted, I plan to punish him by kneeling for 2 hours. It has only been a while, and he must be made to kneel for 2 hours, so that he can have a long memory. Concubine Li showed a wry smile and tugged at Su Yang's clothes, hoping that Su Yang would help Wang Fuegui rescue him. Give it to me. Su Yang smiled, then looked at Lu Shushan, and said lightly, Lu Shushan, you and Feixuan haven't seen each other for so many years. Let's go shopping together and talk about the boudoir. This time Wang Fuegui's affairs will be settled, let's give him a chance to change his ways. Yes. Lu Shushan didn't say a word in rebuttal and agreed respectfully. Let's go, Sister Chu Tian, Jiangbei has changed a lot in recent years. I'll take you for a walk, Li Feixuan said while holding Lu Shushan's arm. In this way, Li Feixuan and Lu Shushan left the milk tea shop together. Before leaving, he put down the anti-inflammatory and painkillers in his hand, obviously thinking of Wang Fuegui very much. Wang Fuegui, you can get up now, Su Yang kicked Wang Fuegui and said calmly. Damn it, young Master Su is so awesome. He managed to defeat that savage bitch Lu Shushan with just one sentence. Wang Fuegui's face was full of admiration, he gritted his teeth and tried to stand up, but his legs were numb, so he said with a face full of pain, young Master Su, I'm in pain, please give me a hand. Su Yang smiled and then helped Wang Fuegui up, young Master Wang, your health is too bad. You have obviously been drained by wine and sex. You have only been kneeling for a long time and you are no longer good. You should go to the club less often in the future. Hey, Mr. Su, we are equally matched, so don't blame anyone. Wang Fuegui muttered, then looked at Su Yang curiously, and couldn't help but ask, young Master Su, tell me, how did you do it? Why does Lu Shushan listen to you so much? Su Yang turned the storage ring on his right hand and said truthfully, because I am better than her, she respects me. Are you strong? Wang Fuegui curled his lips and said, stop talking nonsense. We are all dandies. You are more outrageous than me. You are the #1 dandy in Jiangbei. And Lu Shushan is a master of energy transformation. You are better than her. What a joke. Haha, I'm different from you. Su Yang spread his palms, condensed a ball of spiritual energy, and said with a playful smile, now I am also an ancient warrior. Did you see that the true energy has transformed into a form? I am already a martial arts master. Damn it, are you serious? Wang Fuegui stared at the spiritual energy in Su Yang's hand and said in disbelief. When Su Yang heard this, he directly used his spiritual energy to blast half a cup of milk tea on the table. He raised the corner of his mouth and said, what do you think? What the hell? Wang Fuegui's face was full of shock, young Master Su, when did you start practicing and you turned out to be a master? My grandfather was only at this level. Haha, I'm lucky. Su Yang patted Wang Fuegui on the shoulder and said, young Master Wang, actually Lu Shushan is a very good girl, and she also likes you very much. As long as you can conquer her, she will definitely be the best companion. Get the wool over my head. If we disagree now, she will beat me all over the floor, Wang Fuegui said with a dark face. I can help you become an ancient warrior. However, This method is equivalent to overthrowing the talent. The ceiling is not too high. You are my best friend. I think your upper limit should not be limited. Su Yang was silent for a moment, and then said, well, you wait a few more days, and I will prepare some things. Then I can give you the strength to defeat Lu Shushan. Really? Wang Fuegui was extremely surprised. Su Yang nodded and said, put it on me. With Su Yang's current ability, he could turn Wang Fuegui into an ancient warrior with just a raise of his hand. He could even use some spiritual energy to make Wang Fuegui become a martial arts master in an instant. Only, the ancient martial arts system is relatively rubbish, and if you forcefully improve your strength, there will be an upper limit, so this is not the first choice. Su Yang planned to collect some spiritual stones and set up a small magic circle to help Wang Fuegui embark on the journey of cultivation. After all, young Master Su only has this one good friend, so he must not treat Wang Fuegui badly. Young Master Su, I will leave my future to you. Wang Fuegui gritted his teeth and let the blood flow, and said viciously, Lu Shushan, you stinky bitch, when I am better than you, I will do this to you first, then do that to you, and finally do this to you to let you know how powerful I am. Wang Fuegui said and gestured, looking like he hated Lu Shushan.